the hear. I know the hear when I say action. That one I say when I do action, I don't know. Up you! Actually, guys. Okay, so permit me. I will use both vernacular, that's pidgin, and I will use English. Because the section we are in, or rather section that we are in now, is an interactive session. Section where we will look to ourselves, talk to ourselves, and ask ourselves some certain questions. And as much as possible, I want us to be very down to earth. But however, we must mind our language that we use. Yeah? Up you. Okay, so while we go do that, there are some certain rules I will want put on ground. Before I start, I will want make all of us stand up, stretch our hand and legs. Let's get connected to where we are. Sorry, if I raise hand, those of us who come from Ikobahi, we understand what I want to do. If I do like this, what they call locomotive clap. If I do like this, you clap more. Like this. Do you get it? Una don't connect. Sister, please, Sister Jennifer, I beg you will show us. Example. I will use two hands, and because I use microphone, let me use only one hand. So what it means is, if I do my hand like this, you clap. Like this. Like this. Then once I hold my hand, you will stop to clap. Is that clear? Right. Is that clear? Right. Can we do that again? Clap for yourself. Put your hands together for yourself. Alright, thank you. So quickly, let's not bore ourselves with so much activities. We will divide ourselves into groups. And this group, we need to sit down. Within this group, we will elect who will be our chairman or who will be the leader of the group and the secretary. Now, what the chairman does is, after all we do now discuss, the chairman now will pick the microphone, tell us what we want to talk. The secretary and I will write the points when we are discussed. Are we together? Are we together? Up you! Your hand. Just exercise your body. Alright, so let's go. The time has started.
How do we foster unity amongst ourselves as God's Kingdom Society youth?
So now, number 2 points. We are leaving the work for the longer here. And those from people down where it's not possible.
skill acquisition, those training people, so that can what I want to say, I discovered that in our church now.
Up news, action in Christ. Arrow is not gonna reach out. It goes and branch. So we deliberated and some of the issues or some of the points that we raised. Actually, it's a 6-point agenda, but I'll just try to go through it briefly. Starting from welfare and visitation, we will find out that many a times in the church we leave this part of welfare and visitation to the welfare of the branch, which is not supposed to be so. Before we started, in the middle of our deliberations, one thing that is very, very important is for us to know ourselves. Gathering like this, we are supposed to know ourselves. In a small branch or maybe in a big branch, we are supposed to know each and every youth in the branch. One person at least, you are supposed to have an idea so that when you don't see that person in service, it is your duty to reach out to the person. It is not always the duty of, let's say, the welfare of the branch because they cannot do it all. So as youth, we should have concern for one another. I think if we do that more often, it will foster unity amongst ourselves. Then on social media platform, I think we have to work more on that, on using social media to bring or foster unity amongst ourselves. Then another thing that we should be looking out is skill acquisition. On this aspect of skill acquisition, we should bring ourselves together. And those youths that are endowed in one thing or the other, they can bring them, they can teach other youths that, like, give example, hairdressing or maybe tailoring or other skill acquisition. A particular youth that has the knowledge of things can be made to teach others. By some way, the people in that particular group will get to know themselves better and it will go a long way to foster unity amongst ourselves. Skill acquisition, seminars to talk shows. Now, one of the suggestions that we have, apart from this quarterly mass meeting size, the only time we get to sit like this is during August, which is the youth assembly. If we can be doing programs more often, inviting youth, I think it will help us a long way to foster unity and bring the youth in the zone and in the church together. We concluded, the youngest among our mates concluded by saying that in everything that we do, we should always come together as one. If we do this, I believe that unity amongst youth will be fostered. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Please, a round of applause. Then we'll now do the locomotive clap of that. Are we together? So let's go.
Right. Well, I want to give my sincere thanks to government for the privilege you have to be here today. I'm from Igbo. On the issue raised was how to foster unity amongst our youth. We mentioned some of the points here, and like we discussed amongst ourselves in the group. One of the issues, I'll try and be as brief as possible to accommodate others. Number one is to engage in activities as much as possible. Activities both in our branch level and at zonal level. It's going to help. Activities such as excursions and picnics, and also maybe even if it's possible a talk show, or just like we have now, we have the quarterly mass meeting. It's an avenue for us to foster unity among ourselves. The second part is the area of use of social media. Social media is a way of communicating, even if you are not going to make direct calls or have physical in-person meetings. We can also use the social media as an avenue for us to communicate amongst ourselves. Drop messages to ourselves if someone is not available, or we have, like we discussed, it's a way of us, if we want to discuss activities that we are working on as a youth fellowship, or as a group, or as a unit in the church. It's an avenue for us to discuss the issues without even getting to get physical or in-person meetings. Then the other part we discussed is what I refer to as non-spiritual exercise. The scripture says that bodily exercise is profited, but spiritual exercise is profitable in all. So activities such as physical activities such as games, football games, and other physical exercises, games, indoor or outdoor games, will also help to foster, like we have in youth assembly. So it's not just an aspect for youth assembly alone. We can also arrange such arrangements even on our own, in our groups or at the zonal level. And the last part is regular home visitation or welfare. Now, like the brother mentioned here, the welfare is not just an aspect for the welfare committee members or members that are in the welfare committee. We also, as members of a group or as youth in the zone, can engage in visiting our members from time to time, knowing their houses. And it suffices to say that most of us here will not even know where we live in our different places. And some of us, we have even visited ourselves only just once, despite the fact that we've been meeting in church over the past 4 years. But we don't even know where we live. And it's not good enough. It's an avenue for us to foster unity among ourselves. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Up youth! Up youth!
Let's a round of applause for the brother.
I'm from Igosa branch. Okay. How to foster unity among youth in the branch and in the church? Well, the issue of visitation. So when we are talking, the issue of visitation came to mind as one of the things that is lacking amongst members, among youth in the church. Most of us, as you can see, we don't even know where we stay, where each and every of us stay. Some of us, he or she may just be close to you, but you don't know his address. So that one is another aspect where we work on to always visit ourselves, know ourselves better. Then we all here do business. Number 2. Always patronize ourselves when we are doing business. Some of us will prefer to do business with outsider rather than doing business with a brother or a sister which is in the same faith with you. And if they are doing business with you, you do well to always, give better service to your brother or sister. That's also trained amongst ourselves. Okay? Showing of love by way of concern when anybody is in need, is in stress, distress, maybe somebody that is relocated from a particular state to another. You should always show concern, especially if that person does not have a place to stay. We should always help ourselves. Okay? When another aspect now, when somebody is doing well in the church, we should not just leave that person like that. We should learn to always buy gifts. By way of gifts come in different ways. Maybe by envelope, It can also be maybe what that person needs. Somebody is a tailor now, and the person is doing well. You can do well to say, okay, let this particular group, let's just buy this person a machine. It's also a gift. It will encourage and help that person to always do well in the faith. The one that is very, very important here is attending of meetings. If you see among youth now, there is that attitude, that lukewarm attitude, to always attend Wednesday services and Sunday services. So among ourselves, we form units. When I mean units, there are sometimes now one or two people that will always be discussing. We should always learn to encourage ourselves to attend meetings, like church meetings, like Wednesday service, Sunday services, and as it is today. Then seminar is another thing that can always be organized. Not seminar, we see maybe we do one seminar by January, another one in October. No, there should always be regular seminars to remind us of these things, these values that the youth are supposed to stand for. The church, the leadership of the youth should always endeavor to organize that. Then another one that is very, very shaky in the lives of most of us is this marriage among us. There should be this encouragement for members to marry members, because we already know our culture, we know our norms, we know our values. So by the time we encourage ourselves to marry between ourselves, there are people here now, a brother and a sister. The father of this particular brother knows this brother from the word home. The same thing with the other sister. So it will be very, very, to be easier to know ourselves like that, by virtue of marrying and all that. Okay, let me leave that one there. So marriage is another one that is very key in this aspect. Okay, but we are in campuses. So most of us, when we say youth now, the bulk of people that made up the youth, they are those attending schools, learning trade and all that. So wherever we are, like in the case of campuses, we should always endeavor to visit ourselves, in campuses. There are some people that in school now, they would like to attend other social gatherings other than, fraternizing with members in campuses. So that's that. Okay. Musical concerts should also be organized, because among the youth, that is where you find people from the choir and all that. So there is need for maybe choir of Igosa, Kobai, and the rest of it, which is Okida now. They should always come together to fraternize, to do things in common. So where this one is lacking, they will be able to encourage. So in such a way, we foster unity amongst the youth. Culture is another aspect. If you look at everybody here now, we hail Jesus Christ. Yes, but some are Igbo, some are Calabar, some are Benin like me. My culture is different. I'm a GTS member. I'm used to my culture. Am I used to your culture? So if we intershare our culture, that one will also foster unity among us. I'm a Benin man now. I understand Igbo very well. So if as a Benin man now, I don't teach you Benin, you will teach me Igbo as the case may be. I go Funa, we will not become one. So there are so many, so that is what I have to deliver to the side.
Please put the hands together for him. In fact, I'm impressed with this brother. 3 things came out different from all. And it's not the regular pattern I saw for the first 2. Why I'm more impressed is that if you look at them, I wouldn't know whether they were well informed, and they said yes. And what came out was fantastic. 1, attendance to Wednesday meetings. He talked of acculturation. Is that the proper language? It should be acculturation. Yes. He spoke about acculturation. And the last one I picked was around
Jehovah the Almighty God, and His beloved Son Jesus Christ, for this opportunity given to me to talk to you on myself. This name branch. The topic is how do we foster unity among youth? Up youth! Up youth! Okay, my name is Otako Peggy Osai. I was formerly Ikobai. I was a member of Ikobai branch, but now Igosa branch. Our group, there was once an Ogida branch member. So our group came together and firstly, the first thing that we talked about was charity. Amongst ourselves, charity is very, very important for we youths. Most of us here, we don't know ourselves. Most of us. Charity is very, very important. Some of us, there are some members here who have needs. There are some of us, we know that some of those members, they have needs, and we don't make efforts to give those members what they have, even when we have it. So charity is very, very important as youths. As youths, it is important that we should be able to give to one another. We should always pay attention to our neighbors' needs. It is very, very important, and I think that will foster youth amongst us. Secondly, we talked about welfare of members. As youth, I don't think we do follow-up. Some of this follow-up may be for the administrative committee to do. As youth, I don't think most of us will do follow-up. We don't know our houses. If I ask any of us now, if you know 10 members, their personal house, I believe none of us know each and one of us houses. So it is important for us to do follow-up. Also, the issue of social media. I think we should create a group. Put all the members here now, collect the members' names, their Facebook names and their number. Probably create a WhatsApp group, and we can communicate from there, in the WhatsApp group. I think that will also create unity amongst us. Also, outdoor and indoor recreational activities. This I think we are lacking in this particular aspect. Outdoor and indoor activities. I think when I was in Univen, we actually did something. We went to Yoba Zoo, and I must tell you that actually created this unity amongst us. But I don't think we do it often in branch level. I think when I was a student, we did that, and we had unity amongst ourselves. Outdoor activities is very, very important. Then indoor activities, we can do any indoor activities involving those youth that we think that they are not, how will I put it now? They are not actively involved. We should try to carry them along. It is very, very important. Don't see a member and think, oh, this member, this one, he's not very active. So you just leave the member. No, carry everybody along. And I think that will foster unity among the youth. Then lastly, empowerment. Those of us who are professionals in a particular field, for example, like my sister, she's a pharmacist. She can carry people along and teach them for those who are willing to learn.
Marketing.
For those who are willing to learn. For those who are willing to learn, there are so many, those who can sew, there are so many other trades that we can actually carry people along. So that's the other one. Then job opportunities, like the WhatsApp group I talked about, or Facebook group, as it may be. We might just put any job opportunities that we know or that we see in other groups, we post it in that group. And I think that will help also in creating unity amongst us. Then patronizing each other. Probably if a member is doing a particular trade, we should try to patronize such a member. I think this is all we said in our program. Thank you very much.
All youth, actually Christ.
Firstly, my name is Chukwuye Wadike, a member of the Benin branch. The topic that we have is how to foster unity among youth in the church. First and foremost, I will identify the problems that causes disunity. One of the solutions or suggestions that can foster
Foster unity in youth is exhortation, taking exhortation sermons, exhortational subjects. This will foster unity, especially the one that is bordering on humility. It should be taken always. The ones that are bordering on charity, love, should be taken always. Because if we have charity in the church, I think it will foster unity. Another one is visitations. When you see that your member is not in service, you should ask after that member, either by one phone call or visitation. And also, I will suggest that phone numbers of members will be taken. Phone numbers of members will be taken so that if perhaps there's no chance to visit the member, there will be need to call the member through the phone and ask why he or she is not in service. Lastly, recreational activities can also foster unity, like excursion, going on sightseeing, you know. This will foster unity in church also. Thank you.
All youth actually Christ. Well, one of the ways to foster unity among the youth in our list, this is group 6. Here we have organizing more youth activities for the branch. Now what we have today, this is one of our quarterly markets for the first quarter of the year. So in our group, we decided to say, okay, more of this quarterly mass meeting can come in. This is the first quarter of the year. One has already taken place. The second quarter also, we are suggesting and we're telling the youth that another can come in. Then the last quarter of the year also, we will also have another quarterly mass meeting. This is another way of fostering unity among our youth in our various branches at our zonal level as well, even up to the national level. Also, we have encouragement of youth that are active. In this case, we can have people among us, when the youth are very okay, we can see that they might have the opportunity to work with one of our fellow brothers and sisters in the branch. Maybe our brother or our sister have an establishment. Such a brother can be given such an opportunity to work with him or her in his or her own establishment. Also, we have the children upbringing. This also involves parents. Like we have spoken most of the time, our parents should always allow children to be in the service. Because we have most of our parents, when they are going home, because they come with their own cars, they will take their children home. So we are not saying that the parents should leave their children behind. Let them experience what is happening in the church, what the activities is going on. Let them experience it, so that from there the children will learn one or two. Then we also have the encouragement from the youth body. In this, we are saying that when the children are very active in the branch, like in the activities for today, if a child is brought up here to perform, we'll see that as time goes on, that child will have a sense of belonging. When the youth body organizes or gives presents to such a child, by the time such a child gets home, he will present his arm. That this is what was given to me. Our group took first, or group took second. Such a child is very, very happy that next time he or she will have that mind to do more and engage with it like grace. The encouragement, increasing competition. By the
by the time more of this competition comes in, you will see that more of our brothers, more of our sisters, especially the youth, they will have the mind of doing what they are seeing outside. Even in schools, this one will also encourage them to do more by the special grace of God. They also will also have giving specific tasks to youth, like in our Sunday schools. We have the children Sunday schools, we have the elderly Sunday schools. So if in the children Sunday school, if the children are called upon, given a specific task, a topic like who is God, to take home, go home, study it, come out and present it like what we normally do in our Wednesday service. So the child will have that mind, that willingness to do more by the special grace of God. Such activities will also make every youth in our branch, in our zonal level, and in our national level to become special by the grace of God. These are what we have in our group, in group 6 by the grace of God. Thank you, sir.
Special group by God's grace have been deliberated on how to move or how to encourage ourselves. Those who are not here, especially not we are here already, but those who are not here, how can we make them to be here? One of that issues is about our parents. We want to talk to the youth officials or committee, talk to our committee also, to talk to our parents, to leave us there, to leave them behind, because we say that the parents is going, to give them transportation, feeding, so they can be available for this occasion. That was the thing of that is an issue to why most youth are not around. To please encourage our parents or at least support them, even when youth can still do so. I always support them, no money will assist you by so doing, to encourage them to stay instead of occasion. Then two, if they are the youth, and also I've been in the Port branch for a very long time, and I have to take ideas from them. And the objection was that youth above 50, youth of 50 years below, my God is 50 years is it. There was that I advanced youth who are 50 years, I participate in the work in youth activities. But this is a case I've seen in the Benin branch. In Port Harcourt, it's like Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, it's old men, majority in youth meetings. So that's good to encourage. But when you see a man of 50 years encouraging on doing things of the youth, you want to be encouraged too. Now, how many elders do we have here? No elders. But in Port Harcourt, you see elders everywhere. They will remain, our Shema must remain. Other people must remain. All these people, they told me that, please, I repeat to the youth that those members, not if they are committee, I'm not a committee, and this one my branch for Harcourt. But I still involve myself in youth activities. Apart from the age of 50 years and below. So please let encourage these members who are 50 years below to be effective in their youth meeting. That's not encourage other people. So if they are here to have more population like God's grace. Then number 3, which is youth meetings, should be lively. Youth meetings should be lively. It should not be just one pattern. It should be lively. What is that? What are the people when you say about going on, and you people religious monks are singing. Let that be like they sing. You want to be sure, and which should not be that day. Should be right going to them. Which I buy into let me to the house. Let our youth meeting. No matter how much you have in mind, right to be flexible and light to what you want to attend and to belong. Then 4, talk about the youth. The wealthy youth, people who are blessed and which are God Almighty. They don't involve themselves in activities. According to them, and I was observe myself too. They said, no, we should call them those who are out of the to me. That's the problem now. The solution is that give them opportunities. How? Give them like brother. Of course, brother said, this is the day you shall do this. Yes, you. But don't do it. But not like that. I said, come to me. They don't like me. You won't give me position. Come on, but not be a lot of things about it. Can be a minimal subcommittee, something involved in it. So they won't be just just do more with their bigger than going away. So those wealthy youth, we need to get them into youth activities. Not only for the you understand what I mean? We don't have to on that. They're not about the okay. Then also okay. So the 5th one is talk about youth.
The mic.
Hello. Then youth officers, please. It's another for police officers also. Because most of the time, when we are having meetings, it's always based on the youth officers only. So we know the concern that please, there should be a subcommittee in the youth to encourage the youth also to be involved in youth activities. But if you observe, the last meeting I was there again in the branch here, because only the youth officers that was present, everybody was humble. So we should involve other youth in our sub-meeting, like we are having a question. Get the other brothers who are not involved, who
are not involved. Like when I go home and now, it's always around. Don't even be left at home. Because you always be around. But when I don't around, but I know one occasion, now you go do this one for us. I'll be the brother. He will be around. So if you do so like 5 or 6 brothers, here we 50 or 6 brothers. So if like to get them to ourselves, to get them to them, then the station I can't go to that one. People are talking about it. The empowerment, please. When our sisters are cooking food or want to buy food stuff, know what are some are still selling chicken, some are selling rice, some are selling chicken. Encourage them like the potato. It's not better to but you go by a youth brother that did it times. To encourage the brother. So please let's encourage our members. Do that thing to do in the house of God. You should encourage our youth to do it. But so to be close to yourself. When you don't want to change it.
Up youth. Ojoro did this thing. When group 4, I think group 5 people there, they shout. Special group 4, they don't shout. Why other people they shout? Now I'll tell you the implication. These 2 groups foster more unity by the other group. I end my talk. Please, a round of applause for everybody. When I hear my talk, which one foster more group pass? According to group 1. Who do you think has fostered more group activity among yourselves? Here now. Group 1, I want you to answer. Group 2. Group 3. 4. 5.
You will have different factions. So we want to back this other faction. So we want to go for this brother B. But as we as a strong member of GKS, for those people coming into the system, we should not, because of those things, discourage them. In point of our discussion, when we know we have a new member among us, we should limit the kind of information we pass at that point in time, so that the new brother or new sister, because from what they hear from among ourselves, it will discourage them. So we should limit our communication in then when we are together. And also we should be prayerful. When a brother or a sister has any challenge, we should encourage them by praying together. We can do a group WhatsApp prayer call. Can fix a time, let's say 12 midnight, we come together.